Happy Monday. We're on a nice 18-6 run, and we got a 9-game slate. Let's talk some baseball. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I'm your host, Steven, and we are back to the grind. That's right, it is Monday for another full week of MLB baseball. You already heard it. 18-6 run. We have now been profitable in 23 of the last 26 days. This has been one fun ride, that's for sure. This has been awesome. But profitable weekend. We will go over that in just a little bit in the recap. We only got a 9-game slate to get into, but just a heads up for NFL, I will be on the Kerm Show on Monday and Wednesday talking an NFL team, so go check that out. And pretty soon we're going to have a date for you for an NFL live season preview. Me and Ryan are going to go on. We're going to talk with you guys throughout the video, give you guys our predictions and different things like that. It's going to be a lot of fun, so we'll let you know when that comes. But let's get right into this video, and that means we have a baseball fun fact to start the week. So here we go. Russell Wilson, the quarterback, member now, he was drafted in the MLB draft, if you do not know that. He happened to be drafted in the MLB draft before guys like Jacob deGrom, Aaron Judge, Chris Bryant, and Jock Peterson. I thought that was crazy. Chris Bryant was redrafted again when he went back in second round in 2013, but still, a lot of teams drafted Russell Wilson to play baseball in front of deGrom and Judge. That's wild. But anyways, in this video, we're going to recap the weekend and then give you those good and bad hitter matchups, the good pitcher strikeout matchups, and then of course that pitcher report. And then we got that big game breakdown before we wrap it all up with the best bets, those hitter parlay ideas, and the recap. So hit that like button, leave a comment below. If you guys are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. We are so close to 28,000 subscribers. That would be awesome if we got there by the end of this week. So appreciate all the support as always. Hope everyone had a great weekend, but it's time to get back into it, and it starts with the recap. All right, there it is. A 3-1 day on Friday, a 2-1 day on Saturday. Shane Baz over 15.5 outs. He got 16. I mean, it was a tight one. I'll say that. And for those of you that got 16.5, that is a bummer. I was hoping to get that one more out. But Yankees team total over 4.5. They got 5 runs early, and then I think they ended on 5 runs. But this one hurt, guys. You saw it on Twitter all weekend. Colton Cowser got his hit. Jurickson Profar up in his last at-bat. We need one hit for the 4-0 sweep. All eyes on him. He hits a ball deep that gets robbed of a home run by Brent freaking Doyle. Oh, Doyle does rule. That's right. It crushed me. It crushed me from a 4-0 sweep. But then Schwellenbach, he easily went over 5.5 Ks. I'll take the winning day. Saturday, Twins minus 1.5. They were up by 1 in the bottom of the 8th with 2 outs, and they got a huge hit in a long at-bat. It was an incredible at-bat by Willie Castro, and then they added on another one. They ended up covering easily, but it wasn't easy. It was stressful till the 8th inning. Jameson Taillon under 4.5 Ks. He ended with 4, and it got sweaty as can be. And this last one was the least sweatiest. It was a terrible loss, a terrible read. Hunter Green ended with 11 Ks. San Fran couldn't touch him. It was unbelievable. So anyways, we take the profit. You see it right there, 18-6 run. We dug ourselves a huge hole in the first half, and we are now up to plus 3.52 units as we just try to keep improving from here. So let's keep the roll going. But of course, before we get into those best bets, let's talk the good and bad hitter matchups. All right, we got 15 good hitter matchups for you, and we have a great one. Marcus Semien, 10 for 14 with 1 extra base hit versus Hunter Brown, but it doesn't stop there. Go up a little bit, and you got Yordan Alvarez, 10 for 20 with a bomb off of the lefty Andrew Heaney, and Mark Canha right above him, 12 for 26 and 1 home run versus the Christmas tree. And then over there on the right, we got Seager, 4 for 11 versus Brown as well. Nolan Arenado, 3 for 9, so on and so on. But yeah, take a screenshot. Hopefully this helps you get some winners. And now let's check out the bad hitter matchups, and we have 6 of those for you. Ahmed Rosario, 5 for 30 with 10 Ks off Nola. Not so good. Getting jiggy with it, 2 for 17 with 5 Ks off Nola. Low versus Brown. Hayward also not hitting well versus Nola. And then the lefty Josh Naylor, who's actually been hitting the ball really well lately, but he is 0 for 11 with 5 Ks versus Gallen. And we end it with the Washington Nationals, C.J. Abrams, 2 for 11 with 3 Ks versus Logan Webb. So those are all the hitter matchups that we have. Hopefully these help you get some winners. But now let's talk some arms. All right, we don't have a ton of matchups today, but I found 2 decent ones, and they are in the same game. First one, Aaron Nola at the Dodgers. Dodgers, you can see, been striking out quite a bit last 3 weeks. 26.7%. Nola, 130 Ks, 136.1 innings. His K rate on the road is slightly lower, though, only 22.3% compared to 0.8 at home. Of course, he is on the road here. He had 9 Ks in his only matchup versus the Dodgers this year. In the month of July, he had a 25.4% K rate. Now, the other side of that game, Tyler Glasnow of the Dodgers facing the Phillies. Phillies' ninth highest K percentage at 24.3%. Glasnow, much higher K rate than Mr. Nola, 155 Ks in 121 innings. He does have a lower K rate at home, though, but let's be honest, it's still 30.7. It's still insane compared to 35.4% on the road. But I will say this, he hasn't been striking out as many. He's a guy who hasn't thrown more than like 120 innings in his entire career. I've mentioned it in the midseason preview video and some other times. But so we'll see. Doesn't mean he's going to fall apart or anything. But his K rate was lower. As you can see there, 26.4%. And in May and June, it was 35.6 and 35.7%. He has not faced Philly yet this year. And lately, he has been inconsistent. Again, I'm here to give you the info. This doesn't mean if it's on here, we should look at only betting it over. I want to give you over or under, whatever bet we can. He has been a little inconsistent lately. 8, 4, 7, 1, and 10 strikeouts in his last 5 starts. So those are the 2 pitcher strikeout matchups. And now let's take a look at the pitcher report. All right, these are the first 5 matchups of the day, starting with the lefty Minaya going up against Palante, who's been okay. He, 4.04 ERA with a 2.94 expected ERA actually shows he's going to pitch a little bit better soon. Manaya's been fine. He has some walk issues, as you can see by the 9.8% walk rate. Then we go down to Zach Gallen-Melk and Logan Allen, no relation to Tim Allen. Logan Allen has been absolutely awful. He's just terrible. 6.23 expected ERA, 9.1% walk rate. It's just not pretty. Gallen's he's been good, not as good as he usually is, but as you can see, 4.31 expected ERA. No pitcher for the Reds going up against Roddery. I love to give up home runs, Munoz. And then we got Logan Webb coming off of one heck of an outing. I think it was a 9-inning shutout of the Oakland A's last start, going up against the opposite. Just absolute batting practice Christmas tree, Patrick Corbin, as he is playing out his final season in the MLB. I don't know that. I'm guessing. That's for sure. Giving up about 11 hits per 9 innings. And then Hunter Brown, downtown Hunter Brown, going up against the lefty Andrew Heaney. Feels like the Astros have faced Heaney like 10 times already. But anyways, obviously advantage Hunter Brown there. 3.77 expected ERA. Been one of the better pitchers in the majors, actually, after the first month of the season. So those are the first 5 matchups and all the averages there on the bottom. Take a screenshot. And now let's check out the final 4 matchups. All right, we start out with David Festa of the Twinkies. Actually has not been terrible his last 2 starts, giving up a total of 3 earned runs in 9.1 innings. But going up against the Cubbies, who have no pitcher yet, and then lefty James Paxton going up against Brady Singer, who continues to pitch well, especially at home, with a ridiculous 2.88 ERA that no one saw coming. Again, he is due to have some negative regression. I don't see him ending under a 3 ERA. As you can see, 4.18 expected ERA, but a little slightly above average K rate and about average walk rate and so on and so on. But Jonathan Cannon, he's been okay. He's had some blow-up starts, eaten some innings for the White Sox. Going up against JP Sears, who I'm not really a big fan of, but they both do not miss many bats, as you can see. And then the final one, the showdown of the day, Aaron Nola versus Tyler Glasnow, Phillies versus Dodgers. You can see Glasnow 2.68 expected ERA. Been a little off and on lately, but obviously these 2 pitchers are studs. So that is the entire pitcher report from Monday, August 5th. And now it's time for the big game breakdown. All right, before we get to that breakdown, it's time for the KALSHI trade of the day. That's right, we've been talking about this for a while now and having a ton of fun. If you don't know about it, it's federally regulated in all 50 states, and it's just like stocks. You can buy, sell, but it's all world events that actually interest you. So as you can see, these are some of my trades that are already closed. We've been in the green for some of these, and one of the winners there, the second one down, you see rain in New York City in July. I had no for above 4.5 inches. We cashed on that one. And speaking of that one, we are now going to do another one like that. Let's see if we can cash again for August. Rain in New York City this month, guys. I got my sources. I got my people. We are going to go to yes on above 6 inches, all the way down there on the bottom. And you're going to have a 55-cent contract, it looks like. And we're going to throw $7 on it. That's right. We're going to have some fun. And we're going to try to win some more money. Again, now last August this year, they had a ton of rain. I think it's like 14 inches. I don't expect that. And I also didn't expect me to talk so much weather. But anyways, we're having a lot of fun if you can't tell. So click that KALSHI link below. First 500 signups get a $20 bonus credit. It is awesome. So come join us. But anyways, that's all I got for KALSHI. And now it's time for the big game breakdown. All right, this one takes us out to LA, where the Dodgers are hosting the Philadelphia Phillies. Dodgers on the money line, minus 135. Phillies on the money line, plus 114 with a total of 8 runs in this one. Let's talk to spot real quick. Phillies on the 4th game of a huge 10-game road trip. They just lost 2 of 3 in Seattle to my Mariners, and they are 2-8 in the last 10. Absolutely horrendous since the All-Star break. Dodgers just finished an 8-game road trip, so this will be the first game back of a 6-game homestand. They won 2 of 3 games in Oakland. They are 4-6 in the last 10. These are 2 World Series contenders. We know that, and they're both struggling mightily right now. So, starting pitcher matchup, Aaron Nola versus Mr. Glasnow. Let's talk Aaron Nola first. In his only start versus the Dodgers this season, 6 innings, 4 hits, and 1 earned run, so had a solid start. And speaking of solid, that's what he's been all year, giving up 3 or less earned runs in 7 of his last 8 starts, and actually 3 earned runs or less in 18 of 22 starts. He gives his team a chance to win, which is all you can ask for. He has given up also 5 to 7 hits in 6 of his last 7 starts. Don't even know if that's important. Just want to show you he has been super consistent. Home road splits, speaking of consistent, it's similar. There's not a lot to talk about here. 3.41 ERA at home, 3.47 ERA on the road. Slightly lower K rate on the road, but it's really not that big of a deal. You saw it already in the pitcher K matchups, and then similar walk splits, so nothing big there. Righty-lefty. Now, giving up a slightly higher average to righties, but more power to lefties. So 218 average and 424 slugging to lefties, but a 233 average and only a 358 slugging to righties. Again, not huge differences, but just want to point that out. And he's also faced 291 lefties to 258 righties, in case you're curious. And he has a higher K rate versus righties, 26.4% compared to only 21.3% to lefties. He has the exact same 6.2% walk rate to both righties and lefties, just to show you how consistent he has been. Now, Mr. Glasnow, he has been a little inconsistent lately. In July, and it's only been 4 starts in 21 innings, he has a 5 ERA with a 278 average against. You saw the K numbers already, much lower K rate in July. He has now given up 5 earned runs in he gave up 5 earned runs in 2 consecutive starts, and then after that, he gave up 2 and 3 earned runs in his last 2 starts. Home road splits, it's similar to Nola. There's not a lot of excitement here on this one. He's been consistent. 3.63 ERA at home, 3.33 ERA on the road. And you saw the K numbers also. He's lower K rate at home, lower walk rate at home as well, 5.7% compared to 9.1% on the road. So that's a good sign. Righty-lefty splits, similar numbers here too. Slightly more slugging given up to lefties, kind of like Nola, but almost exact average. 8 of the 14 home runs he's given up have been to lefties. He has similar K rate splits, 32.4% to lefties, 33.1% to righties. There's a reason these two are good, solid pitchers in this league, because they don't just get dominated by righties or lefty, or home and away doesn't really affect them. They've both been solid either way. Now, Glasnow is someone who absolutely dominates the lineup the first time through. If you like to live bet, sometimes these are important, but he has a 1.64 ERA in the first time through the order. Second time through the order, 4.78. Third time, 4.82. So that first time through the order, hitters are having a tough time scoring some runs. Now, offenses. This is surprising, guys. Phillies, the last 3 weeks versus righties, the 5th worst WRC+, 4th worst on base percentage and average, 7th worst slugging. But they do have the 15th most plate appearances versus righties and scored the 6th fewest runs. Any way you slice it, it has been ugly, that's for sure. And the Dodgers, 9th best WRC+, 10th highest OBP and 15th highest average, 13th slugging. And big news could be Freddie Freeman maybe returning this game. He's going to return for this series, they said. They just don't know if it's going to be for Monday's game or not, so just stay tuned for that one. Obviously, a big help for the lineup. Bullpens, last 30 days, the Phillies have been awful. Now, we talked most of the year about how they have been one of the top bullpens in the MLB. They have the 3rd worst bullpen ERA in the last 30 days, 5.92. I mean, this team all around has been just horrendous. Only the Red Sox and the White Sox have been worse. Only Sox. 7th worst xFIP as well at 4.34. Dodgers, 9th worst ERA in the last 30 days, 4.99. 19th in xFIP at 4.10. Now, arms used. Philly used pretty much nobody, because Zach Wheeler threw an absolute gem and threw 8 innings versus Seattle. They only threw Jose Ruiz in the 9th inning. Dodgers yesterday used Trinan, Hudson, Vesia, Banda, but they all threw like 9 to 15 pitches or right in that range. So it doesn't mean they're all not going to be available because they weren't used that much. So that's the big game breakdown. I got to get creative on this one. In fact, I had to get creative all day on the slate today, but I got a half unit, same game parlay that I like. Stay with me. Here we go. Under 5.5 runs in the first 5 innings and the Dodgers plus 1.5 in the first 5 innings at minus 135 on FanDuel. So this is an alt line for both of these, obviously on FanDuel. I almost went the under 4.5 was too juice for the first 5. So this is what kind of led me to this. And I thought the Dodgers were going to win. So I thought, let's just throw together an alt line parlay. But let's talk the under 5.5 runs in the first 5. Again, the line is 4.5. I'm going up to 5.5. Like I mentioned, we don't have great offenses that are just absolutely smoking the ball, especially the Phillies. They have been massively struggling since the All-Star break. They have scored the sixth fewest runs versus righties since the break. And now, they need to see. I mean, honestly, they just scored, 6 yesterday against the Mariners? I need to see more than that. That's just not going to cut it to me. And Bryce Harper maybe came out of his funk a little bit, but again, it's one game. We'll see if the lineup is actually out of it. Now they have to travel to L.A., and we'll see if Freeman's back. Obviously, if Freeman's back, it'll help the Dodgers part of it, but it might not help the under if he hits a bomb or something like that. But I think the bats here start off slow. I mean, we got the Dodgers coming back after a long road trip. That first game of a homestand can sometimes be a little bit of a sluggish game for the home team. I can see like maybe a 2-1 type of game here after 5 innings. Again, it can be 2-2, it can be 3-2, and as long as it's under 5.5, that's all I care about. And then the Dodgers plus 1.5 first 5. I just mentioned a little bit. I do think this is a close game after 5. I think it's a tie, 1-run game either way. But I just trust the Dodgers offense a bit more. You heard the numbers. They've just been swinging a little bit more, and they're 34-20 at home for a reason. They do swing it better at home. And they could be down 1 and I still cash this. So I think they can get to Nola for, even if they just score 2, I think that gets the job done. I think Nola can hold them to, all you'd have to do is hold them to 3 or less, and we still cash it. So give me the Dodgers plus 1.5 in the first 5 innings and the under 5.5 in the first 5 innings. That's a little same game parlay, half unit play on the big game breakdown. And now let's talk bet number 2. All right, this second one takes us out to the nation's capital where the Nationals are hosting the Giants. Now, we got the Giants on the money line, minus 185, the Nats on the money line, plus 155, with a total of 9.5 runs. Call me chalk, but my best bet is the Giants, minus 1.5 at minus 115. I got that on ESPN Bet. We have Logan Webb versus Patrick Corbin. I am done with my analysis. Okay, I guess I'm obligated to give you a little bit more than that. But again, guys, this is a humongous pitching advantage for San Fran. And of course, I got the details to back it up. So Logan Webb, he is coming off a complete game versus the Oakland A's. And it was good to see because he was struggling a little bit in July before that. But he did face Dodgers in LA. He did face Colorado in Coors Field. So let's talk about Logan Webb. If you don't know much about him, he is an elite ground ball pitcher, and he has been pretty much his entire career. I mean, we're talking a 61% ground ball rate. That is insane. That's in the 98th percentile. And by the way, that's actually lower than last year, 63.1%. He had 17 ground balls to 6 fly balls in his last start. He actually had a start earlier this year against the Dodgers, 14 ground balls and 1 fly ball. It is really tough to hit a home run if you're giving up 14 ground balls and 1 fly ball. I know, I did the math. It's a science thing. We'll talk about it later. But why this is huge now? Because the last 3 weeks since the All-Star break, the Washington Nationals have the highest ground ball rate in the league at 48.8%. It's even higher versus lefties, but I just want to point that out. It is the number 1 ground ball rate. I expect an absolute ground ball palooza by the Washington Nationals. And I'm just going to hope that like a ton of them don't just find holes and score some cheap runs that way. But I just love this matchup for that. Nats offense overall versus righties last 3 weeks. 8th worst WRC plus, 6th worst slugging, 16th on base percentage. They've been decent this year at getting on base, whether it's average, walks, anything like that, but they lack power. We've talked about it before. They just lack that big bat that can just hit a ton of home runs and drive in those runs. Now, Patrick Corbin. Oh, man, take a deep breath. Poor Patrick Corbin, or poor Nats owner who gave him, $240 million over 6 years to pitch batting practice. Seriously, I would have taken $239 million to pitch BP. Seriously, it's just absolutely been terrible. One of the worst contracts in MLB history. He has the highest ERA of any qualified starter in the majors since the start of 2020. That's just a tough pill to swallow. In his last start, the Nats lost 17-0. D-backs scored 2 quick touchdowns and then tacked on a field goal there at the end. Corbin, by the way, he did most of that. He gave up 10 runs. That's right, a touchdown and a field goal. That's because the Nats just left him out there. Why? Because they could care less about Patrick Corbin. It's the last year of his deal. He is gone off the team after this year. He's gone out of the majors. So they said, let's just run him into the ground until he gives up 10 runs. That was just absolutely brutal. But in Corbin's last 14 starts, the Nats have lost by 2 or more runs in 10 of those last 14. He's had some decent starts in there as well. But I just don't think this is going to be one of them because the Giants offense versus lefties in the last 3 weeks, they have been raking, first of all season. But last 3 weeks, number 3 WRC plus, number 4 OPS, number 1 slugging, 7th on base percentage, 8th batting average. It's been wild. Since June 1st versus lefties, they have 42 doubles, second most in the majors, and 21 home runs, tied for the 5th most. Unlike the Nationals, these guys got some pop and they got some power. I know Elliot Ramos might be out, but they still got enough power versus lefties to drive in runs, whether it's home runs, extra base hits, things like that. Now, bullpen since the All-Star break, Giants average right in the middle, 4.15 ERA. Yesterday, Eric Miller threw 19 pitches. Tyler Rogers only threw 8. Walker 15, and Bivens, I don't know how to say it, 12. And then the Nats. It has been ugly since the All-Star break. They have the 3rd highest ERA as a bullpen at 6.5. 6.5 is not good. It's not a surprise. They've traded away some bullpen arms, so they're obviously in sell mode. They weren't trying to build their bullpen. They just used Finnegan for 11 pitches yesterday and Garcia for 13. Now, the cherry on top of this beautiful Patrick Corbin Sunday is that the Giants are the road team. Obviously, a lot easier to win by 2 or more runs when you're guaranteed that 9th full at bat. So give me the Giants minus 1.5 as my second best bet. Chalk or no chalk, I am taking the bait. And now let's check out bet number 3. All right, this final one takes us out to Cleveland, where the Guardians are hosting the Arizona Diamondbacks. D-backs on the money line minus 125. Guardians on the money line plus 105 at a total of 8.5 runs. I said I had to get creative. I haven't done one of these props in a while, but give me Logan Allen over 1.5 walks at minus 120 on BetMGM. Love the value there. This is the half unit play for me. It's a walks prop. I'm not 100% in yet, but I do like this bet quite a bit. So let's pull up Outlier and check it out because we got some numbers to talk about. So here we go. By the way, if you're not a part of Outlier, what are you freaking doing? You are missing out. It's a one-stop shop for all your betting research. Click that link below. Go try out the free trial. It's incredible, guys, and they're going to have so much data for NFL. You're going to be blown away. It's been helping us win for the last couple months now. It's been incredible, so click the link below. But now, back to this one, Logan Allen. Let's go to 2024. As you can see right there, he's over this in 11 of 18 starts. Now, as you can see by those little bars, he's actually had 3 or more walks in 6 of those 11 starts as well. So he's just had some struggles with his command. He's had struggles with his command in the minor leagues also. But now let's switch over to home games and see what he has done this year at home. And as you can see right there, over in 5 of 7 starts. That's a great hit rate. And as you can see, there are also 3+ walks in 3 of those games as well. So it's not like he's just barely creeping over this. So that's what we have there. But now let's switch to last 10 and let's take away the home. Let's just talk about this. So in the last 10, he's gone over this, as you can see there, in 6 of those last 10. But 2 of those misses were against 2 teams in the bottom 9 walk rate. I mean, they just don't walk. The Royals have a 5.9% walk rate. It's the 3rd lowest. That's why he missed one of them. Orioles, 7.1%, 9th lowest. They love to swing early and often in the count. So I mean, those are 2 really low K rates, and now he's facing the D-backs, which is a little different, which we're going to talk about here in a second. But at home, this is also why I love this bet. At home here, and when we look at the splits and everything, he has a much higher walk rate at home. We're talking an 11.4% walk rate at home compared to a 7.6% on the road. So we're getting a guy with an 11.4% walk rate in Cleveland, and it's minus 120 for over 1.5 walks. You don't get this very often. He doesn't usually get a playable line at 1.5 very often either. Now, you're wondering about the D-backs. They're completely average. So it's not like they're a great matchup, but they're also not a bad matchup. 15th in walks versus lefties, 8.3%. I think Allen and his 9.1% walk rate overall, his 11.4% walk rate at home, throws 4 balls against 2 Diamondbacks hitters. That's all I need for a half unit. And that is my 3rd and final bet. Again, any added plays will be in the pinned comments. I don't love the slate, but I might find a good one for in the morning as well. But now let's talk those hitter parlay ideas. You know we have to. So now I got 5 of these for you. I got a ton. So here we go. We've been on a roll with these, as you guys know. First one, Ketel Marte. He is facing lefty Logan Allen, who's giving up 10.3 hits per 9 innings. He's hitting 357 versus lefties, 357 in July, which is insane. Also hitting 370 the last 7 days. The man is on fire. He's got an incredible matchup. You got to throw him up there. Obviously, the odds might be huge. If you want to go 2+ hits, you could. Maybe over bases, maybe over HARRs, things like that. Second one, Marcus Semien of the Rangers. He's 10 for freaking 14 versus Hunter Brown. What else do I need to say? That's insane. He's also been better lately. He's had a rough start to the year, like a lot of these Rangers hitters have. But he has 1+ hit now in 12 of his last 14. He hit 202 in June and turned it around and hit 287 in July. So starting to find his form a little bit finally. And then Yordan Alvarez, my goodness, 10 for 20 off of Andrew Heaney. A 500 average, by the way, in case you can't do the math, that's pretty good. Alvarez absolutely crushes lefties, too. He is hitting, and by the way, Alvarez, yes, he is a lefty if you don't know, but he's hitting a ridiculous 358 off lefties, just absolutely pummeling it. He also crushes on the road. This is one of the weirder stats in the MLB right now. He is hitting 356 on the road and 243 in Houston. They've talked about it and during games. They don't know why Yordan cannot hit at home, but that's the case. 356 on the road. He will be on the road here. And hitting 364 in his last 7 days. Mark Canha of the Giants. This is one of those sneakier ones where it's kind of under the radar. 12 for 26 off Corbin, like you saw again, almost hitting 500. And he also hits lefties way better than righties. 292 average as opposed to 219 versus righties. Now the final one. The veteran, Salvador Perez, Salvi, playing for the Royals, 5 for 16 off lefty James Paxton. He hits lefties better, 311 off of them this season. And after a slow start where he hit 194 in June, he had a 267 in July, starting to pick it up. I like Salvi as well. So those are 5-hitter parlay ideas. Do what you want with this information. And then my 3 best bets, my big game breakdown, all the research help you need. We got through it. Let's get some winners and stay hot. But before we finish, let's check out the recap. All right, I got 3 bets for you. Here we go. Same game parlay under 5.5 in the first 5 innings. Dodgers, Phillies, and the Dodgers plus 1.5 in the first 5 innings. Again, both alt line half unit play for the big game breakdown. And then Giants minus 1.5 at minus 115. Fading Patrick Corbin. That is my 1 unit play. And then Logan Allen, the lefty for the Guardians, over 1.5 walks at minus 120 on BetMGM. That is also a half unit play. So again, any added plays will be in the pinned comments. I'm sure I'll find another one for you guys in the morning. Maybe hitter parlay, maybe that and something else. We'll see. But thank you guys for listening like you guys have been doing every single day. Leave a comment. Hit that like button if you haven't already. I appreciate it. It helps this channel grow as we try to get to 27,000 subscribers. But hope you guys all have a great Monday, and we'll talk to you soon.